Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. This is Around the Blockchain. It could be Monday through Friday at 5:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it was a little bit of an odd start. I didn't have BJ counting down. He's at home right now working remote. So I was a little thrown off there. But yes, I'm wearing green. It's because the markets are green. You saw me wear it this morning. Did I predict it? Yeah, let's just say I did. But we're going to have a great show today. We got some great topics, great guests, as per usual, and we're going to get right into it. We have Altcoin Daily. He's almost at 900,000 Twitter followers. So congrats, man. You're almost at 1 million. You know, we're right. I know over here at BitBoy, we're working on getting Ben verified. So hopefully that pans out. Jebb also at a milestone. I think we can change that today, actually. The links are going to be in the description for all the guests we have. Jebb's hundreds away from 40,000. Just a couple hundred, few hundred. So go ahead, smash that follow. Go to his Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. He really puts out some great content. And we have Wendy O. And just yesterday, I believe, she put out a really good play-to-earn guide for gaming with crypto. So if you want to make some free money, you play some games on the weekend, definitely check out her channel. She's got some great stuff. And last but not least, we have Ben Armstrong. He might be playing Santa at the Christmas party tomorrow. Are there any truth to those rumors, Ben?
Yes. All I will need to do is just change my my shirt from blue to red, and I will fit, and I can be Santa. Correct.
I'm already dressed as your elf, so just let me know. I'll be there.
That you are my ho ho ho.
Oh, so DT's going to be sitting on your lap?
Amen. And I might have some dollar bills for him. Yeah.
Did your wife approve of that?
Oh yeah, she's into it.
Yeah. Okay. Jingle bells, but maybe change one letter. All right. Well, we're going to get bells? Right.
I don't get it.
We're going to go right into the market watch right now. That's right. I'm wearing green for a reason, chat. This is it's looking good. Let's see where this black and white plane takes us. I know where it's going to take us. Oh, look at that. It takes us to the promised land. Finally, looks like Bitcoin's up 5%. Ethereum was touching like real close to 10% right now, above $4,000. I'm very excited about that. We're looking good. Solana, 16%. I wanted to make a move when it was below 150. I didn't quite pull the trigger there. Avalanche, look at that giant gain, up 27%. I mean, I could scroll this chart all day. Polygon looking really good. Let's see. If we check out the top gainers, it is Avalanche up there. XDC, Cardano, look at all those coins up 20%. We love to see it. E-Gold, still below 300. Matic, 18%. Like I said, Quant, Solana, seeing some huge gains here. It's looking great. What is down? Hopefully stable coins are at the top here. Let's see. Doge down. It had an insane run the other day, up 20% off the Elon Musk tweet. Tether. I love it. When you see stable coins at the top, that's typically a good sign. Now, Wendy, you just put out a video. You were talking before the show. I know you had some, some contrary takes. You put out a video today on the price action. What are the market's telling you? Is this, should we be celebrating? Should we be cautious?
I'm still cautious. I think that it's great that we ran up. I'm not going to share my screen because I'm too lazy to, but literally we are in a very, very tight range between approximately 46 and like 51.8. I need us to get back above that area. Like realistically, like above 52, I would start to feel a little bit better. But right now we're just in a bit of a consolidation. And I want to see us sustain. And the reason why is we're actually in a downtrend. And I think, Jebb, do you have any takes on this? Like if you look at that swing wick high that we got, I want to say it was November 10th at like $69,000. We've been in a downtrend ever since. So I feel like 52,000 is an important area to break.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, we're in a secondary downtrend to the primary uptrend. I told you guys over the last 6 months, I don't think we're entering a bear market yet. I think it's many months away, excuse me. We're in a secondary downtrend. We're trying to find that bottom. I think it's going to be somewhere in the 40s, which it may already be in.
Okay. And we are going to get more in-depth in the Bitcoin bounce and the price action towards the end of this episode. So definitely stick around for that. But before you do that, make sure you hit that like button, smash that like button, do the like button, then go in the description, check out the other channels, check out their other Twitters, but go ahead, smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you definitely go ahead and do that. But it is everyone's favorite round. It is time for the lightning round. And we're talking about one of the great debates of our time. That is right. Is it GIF or is it JIF, like the peanut butter? I will give my opinion afterwards, but I'm going to start with you, Ben, and then go counterclockwise. GIF or JIF?
Well, the obvious answer is GIF. That's the obvious answer. And I think this just boils down to, do you want to be the smartest guy in the room, or do you want to be right? Because if you want to be the smartest guy in the room, you're going to explain that it's GIF. And that's the original intention that it was meant for, was to be pronounced that way. You can get into phonetically how GIF actually makes more sense, even though GIF sounds or looks at first glance like it makes more sense. But the fact is, everyone says GIF. You don't want to always be trying to look like the smartest guy in the room. Trust me.
Okay.
It's my cross to bear, not yours.
Did you read 48 Laws of Power?
It's a light cross.
No. No, is
Wendy,
that a tweet?
Wendy, where do you stand on this great debate?
I actually cannot pronounce half the things in the English language. I don't know why, but I just will call it a GIF, or I call it a GIF. I don't know if that's correct, but just like meme is a meme. I don't know. I just say I say how I feel, and that's how I'm feeling today.
All right.
And what about these people? What about these people? What about the people that call it a meme?
It's not a meme. That sounds like a moo-moo, and you do not
They're
want
called
to.
boomers.
I don't even own a moo-moo.
They're called boomers.
Jebb, as the youngest on the panel, GIF or GIF? Where do you land?
Well, the smart people say GIF. The trendy people say GIF. GIF. The smart people say GIF. The trendy people say GIF. I say GAF because I'm different.
Okay. All right. And that wasn't a gaff. That's typically what you say. And Altcoin Daily. You and your brother, I'm guessing, it's the same. So you're going to count as 2 votes here. GIF or GIF?
Is it GIF? Is it GIF? My question is it a slow news day that we're starting with this topic?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's pretty accurate.
No, but really. Altcoin Daily, awesome to be here. DZ, great question. This is something that my brother and I debate usually every holiday, every Thanksgiving. The founder says it's GIF, but public opinion says it's GIF. Just go with the public. Way easier in life for this specific thing.
Yeah.
I have a question for.
Go ahead.
I have a question for Austin. Austin, is that like the biggest argument that you and your brother Aaron have been in regarding in the history of the world? Is it GIF or is it GIF? I think the people need to know.
That and who mom loves more is the 2 biggest.
Okay. All right.
The answer is obvious. She loves BitBoy Crypto the most. I mean,
yeah.
Oh.
Set them up. You set them up for that one. Yeah, it's definitely GIF.
Right.
If you want to be a actually person,
It is
say GIF. But the people have spoken. It is GIF. It's GIF. We all agree. Chat's agreeing. Everybody. Now, if you think it's GIF, hit that like button. Let's smash that like button. Let's set a record for ATB episodes. Let's get those likes through the roof. All right. Well, let's get into our first topic here. Before we talk about Bitcoin, we're going to talk about a decentralized VPN hitting the scene. It's called Exedio. It's a decentralized VPN built on the Sentinel blockchain. You ready for a blast from the past? This is built on the Cosmos ecosystem. That's right, Adam. We're not talking about Adam and Eve, but it is an old coin. Not quite that old, though. It's ran by some former Cipher punks, if that says anything about how old it is. And there's a few Charles Schwab execs that seem to be getting involved. But, a decentralized VPN, that's nothing new. But we're starting to see more Dapps, decentralized apps with actual working products hit the market. We have Audius, that's the Spotify competitor. We have, the Brave browser using the BAT token. This kind of like a Chrome, competitor or Explorer competitor. So we're seeing more of these things hit the market. They have coins behind them. People are getting excited. Now, let's see. I'll bring it to you, Altcoin. Do you think that coins with actually working products are going to be a good bear market play because people are actually using it? Maybe kind of doesn't fall out of, people's, conversations. You're like, people are going to keep using their Brave browser during the bear market. They might not like BAT token, but they're going to keep using Brave. Will that give it a little insulation against the bear market downturn?
I would say yes, a very little. And also,
Okay,
I wish
little.
that was, it's better than not having a working product. And I wish that was sort of the norm in terms of, so many of these projects launch and then the product comes out in 2 months, yet the coin's live. There's no right or wrong way and doesn't make you a good or bad project either way. But it's a lot easier if there is a working product.
Okay, yeah. Now, Ben, I know, you've dealt with crypto and VPNs and all this for a real long time. Now, VPNs, it's loved by degenerates. It's loved by the crypto people. Cybersecurity experts love it. You'll see Edward Snowden talking about it. So people, they definitely love their VPNs. Are there any downsides to VPNs for those who have never used one?
I mean, yeah, sometimes they can like cause disruptions in your service. And they, what VPNs can do is they can lead you to a place, and we use VPNs for different stuff, so I'm not saying don't use them, but they can lead you to like a false sense of safety and security, I think sometimes, to where you're like, oh, well, as long as I'm using a VPN, I'll be able to access this eventually or do this or do that. But down the road, whether it be regulators or whether it be, internal terms of service from different websites, they catch on and they know that you're using VPNs, because VPNs have very specific identifiers. So that even though they might not know who's using it, they know people are using VPNs most often. So
yeah,
I think, that is one downside, is just it gives you a false sense of security about, the ease of use of the site that you're, operating on. But, and now look, let's face facts here. Here in America, not that big of a deal. In China, when you're using a VPN, you get caught using a VPN, who knows what the punishment will be. So we're just in a really fortunate situation to be living in a country that, doesn't put, digital fences around, most things we can visit on the internet. But other places, communist countries, dictatorships, they're not like that. So a downside of using VPNs in those countries is death.
Yeah, no digital fences, plenty of financial fences. I will double down on what Ben says. You will typically get a slightly worse coverage. You might have to take it off if you're trying to watch your Netflix or something like that. If you're trying to watch You starring Altcoin Daily, you might not work then. So let's talk about Atom, Wendy. This is it's an older coin. It's been around for years. Probably about 1/6 of your lifespan. You're what, like 18, 21, I'm sure. So these, it's been around. It's undervalued. It's Atom. No one.
Did you just say I looked young?
Was that a compliment?
Bless your heart.
Yeah, of course. Well, how old are you? Now, some of
She's
these
married,
old
buddy.
coins, these old coins have been around, but they don't really have the price action of something that's hot and something that's new. Look at like an ICP, for instance. Tezos, EOS, Atom. Do these old coins, are they undervalued because there's no more speculation? It's like, oh, who knows what this coin will do after it's been out for 12 months? Well, we know what those will do after 12 months. Would you say they're undervalued, or are they actually overvalued?
Let's actually have a discussion about this. And I think it's important to include everybody, especially if you've been in the space for a while. So there is this ideology in crypto that you will buy a project, it will pump, it'll dump, and it'll pump again. And people like to refer to Dogecoin. This is the easiest example. And you'll see this with a lot of old coins. But what ends up happening is a lot of these older dead coins, people rebrand them and they reuse them. So just because a project did really well in the past and they did decide to rebrand, doesn't mean that it's going to pump again. And you do have to be careful when these older projects do start to come out with these new products, because it could be an exit scam. And I've seen it happen in the past. I'm not saying this particular project is an exit scam. I am saying it is something that you should note before aping into it. Like, are the devs docs, is the team docs? Like, I want to see the audit, I want to see the code, I want to see all that type of stuff to determine if it's something that is going to sustain.
Well, with some of these coins, all right, say Solana, you love Solana. Is a lot of what Solana's price action is based on what it could be doing. So, it kind of has that, 2x, 3x, it basically priced with speculation, where the older coins can't be priced with speculation because we already know what it's doing. The developers aren't going crazy. Would you say that, say, a Solana would be overpriced because of so much hype and speculation?
Well, with Solana, it's a little bit different just because of some of the backers. So I really think that there's a lot of things that go into it. Like, you need to know who's backing it. You need to know who the partners are. What's the utility? What are they promising? Have they met certain things on their roadmap? What's going on in the community? What's going on in the Discord? So there's a lot of big factors to kind of come into play. We all know that FTX is or Alameda is, that's like their coin that they love is Solana. So they have people with money. When you have people that with money that are investing in particular things, they don't want to lose money. And that's why we do see pumps with ETC and with Zcash from Grayscale, from Barry, because they're holding quite a bit of that. Ethereum Classic what does Ethereum Classic do? Why is it even still around? Can anybody answer that for me?
Charles Hoskinson's on the board. So, that alone makes people interested.
Follow the
I
money.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
Probably an
Charles Hoskinson is basically the reason for Ethereum Classic. He is Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, that's true. That's another good point. Well, chat is definitely letting us know they are not a fan of Solana. Shady AF is seems to be the sentiment here. All right, last question I'm gonna ask you, Jebb. This VPN, you can pay for it with crypto. Is this something that we are? Is this the new trend that we're going to start seeing? Or are we going to start seeing an Audius premium that you could pay for with Audius, or a Brave premium that you could pay for with BAT? Do you see this being like kind of a new wave of products?
Well, I think it's inevitable. You know, so before we had virtual currencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other things, virtual currencies existed in the form of loyalty programs. So you had frequent flyer miles. That's a good example. And a lot of companies, for example, in the last 2 years, all three of the major American Airlines, Delta, and United, all three of them published the value of their loyalty programs. You'll see where I'm going with this, I promise. And their loyalty programs are worth around $18 to $26 billion, which is interesting because their company's market capitalizations are between $8 and $16 billion, and they own the loyalty programs outright. They created these loyalty programs. If you take them away, the companies are actually worth negative. Their entire business model nowadays is around these loyalty programs because they sell their frequent flyer points to credit card companies, and they have different connections with things like banks like Citibank. So they create these currencies that keep people in the system. So one, yes, I think it's absolutely inevitable that we're going to see a lot of these big blockchain companies and blockchain decentralized applications and products start using their own cryptocurrencies for the sake of customer retention, especially in subscription memberships. Anyone who's run a software as a service business before, who works in subscriptions, understands that more than getting new customers, what you really need to focus on is retaining and maintaining the customers that you currently have. How do you do that? By having things like loyalty programs, by having things like your own virtual currencies, by having things like frequent flyer miles, and by using your own currencies, such as Basic Attention Token in Brave's case and Audius's own native token in their case. And the second thing I'll add to that is this has been the writing on the wall for a very long time. For the 5 years I've been in crypto, we've been talking about different blockchains that were going to end up being utilized in areas other than basic smart contracts and currencies. Icon, for example, was trying to set up medical record services 4 years ago, and we're seeing it happen all over the place now. You mentioned Basic Attention Token and Brave. Audius is another example. This VPN push is just one more example of where blockchain technology is going to be used to provide products that I think people are probably going to choose over the legacy products because people in crypto kind of want to stay in crypto. So that's what I'd say to that.
All right. Well, I know I said that was going to be the last question. I want the altcoin a curveball here. Now, we mentioned some old coins. Yes, Wendy mentioned Zcash. We're talking about Atom. Are there any old coins that you kind of like? Just you had a heart. It was a soft spot in your heart 2 years ago. You never let it out of your heart. It's still, in there rent free. Are there any old coins that you're a fan of?
Talking 2018, 2017, old school coins.
Old school
Correct.
Coins. Maybe even 19.
I do.
19. Well, I'm going through the list right now. And
you have to go pretty far. Like I was surprised how far I had to go down before I found some examples. I was like, EOS, Tezos, I found some of these other ones. Kind of forgot about Zcash, to be honest.
That was my first moon bag ever. Verge was my first, it was my first 10 times or 100 times in my first moon bag. I remember it, the day. Thank you, Matt. Thank you,
EOS
McAfee.
and Litecoin.
RIP.
Okay.
I would say if I had to pick, it's so hard for me to remember them, but just choosing from EOS, Zcash, and Basic Attention Token, it's going to be a no on Zcash. It's going to be a no on EOS. Even though Mike Novogratz is pushing it hard, they have Bullish Exchange coming up, the best centralized exchange that the money can buy with the EOS Treasury. But I would say Basic Attention Token, still implementing, maybe not as relevant because there are a lot of competitors that don't have the working utility Brave browser, but are coming up to decentralize attention and put the power back to the people. But Zcash, 98% of the transactions aren't really private if a professional is doing the chain analysis. EOS, they have a huge treasury, but they're not in the conversation anymore. Basic Attention Token, I guess, would be the special place in my heart.
All right. I like that. I personally am a fan of EOS, but only because of Wax and the Wax NFTs, and it runs on that blockchain. But let's talk about Bitcoin.
I should say they're not bad. It's just that I don't think they really lived up to what people were promising or talking about 4 years ago.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've been hurt, DZ. I've been hurt. But
I remember reading those Reddit posts in January, February 2018.
I have so many of those coins. There's so many. What about
you have a gem? Give us a gem here, Ben.
What about Ray blocks? Ray blocks.
Isn't that Nano, Ben?
Oh,
it is Nano. That's the spoiler. You had to ruin it. I want to say a coin that nobody knew existed because it got rebranded. But
what about AND shares?
Well, that's Neo. So
Neo's
definitely one.
Way to go the same route.
Neo, Nano, which was formerly Ray blocks, and then ZRX and Basic Attention Token. Those were the two that I was the most bullish on. 2018, I was like convinced that they were going to get onto Coinbase, and then they did, and it was in the thick of a bear market, and it did nothing. So, those are definitely some coins I was looking at back in the Enigma was a privacy coin that I was real big on. I used to Funfair. Anybody remember Funfair? Still
I do. Yeah.
I remember BAT was. I was hugely bullish on BAT, and I didn't really think about the tokenomics of. Oh yeah, just people are just getting BAT and selling it every day, the dumping pressure. But let's talk about some Bitcoin here. I see the people, they want to hear about some Bitcoin. We're going to talk about some Bitcoin. If you're happy that Bitcoin has jumped in price, smash that like button. We need capital N double ED. We need you to hit that like. But I have a shot right here where, there's kind of contrary takes. This Michael Pop guy, he is a Coin Telegraph analyst. Fed keeps its interest rate 0 to 0.25% as it is, committed to employing the full range of instruments. Basically, this means bull market continues for Bitcoin. However, Will Clemente, the famous analysis, you see him all over Twitter, he's advising on holding off at the current prices, saying, he's waiting to be a buyer at 53K confirmation. He must follow his own plan. So we got some people, they're super bullish. Some people, they're saying the 53K. Now, Jebb, I heard you talking about, the certain levels we need to reach. How do you feel about, where do you land on this? Are you feeling bullish, or are you also waiting for the confirmation? I heard you say 52, I believe.
Yeah, no, 52, like Wendy was saying, is a big level for breaking bullish. The thing is, the decision that the Fed came out with at 2 p.m. today was incredibly important, because the two metrics that everybody's paying attention to on the Fed is the interest rate and the quantitative easing. And there are some announcements that QE is likely going to be pulling back a little bit, but the main thing that everybody was paying attention to is the fact that the federal funds rate is going to be kept at near zero. Basically, what that means, guys, for anybody who has heard people like us talk about the federal funds rate, the reason that this matters is because whenever a bank needs money, where does it go? Well, the bank goes to its bank, which is normally a central bank, and the central bank has an interest rate that it uses when it's giving money to the other banks. So whenever you're paying 2 or 3% on a mortgage, you might wonder, okay, why is 2 to 3% the absolute lowest I'll ever get on a mortgage? Well, it's because they need to make money, and they're getting their money from somebody. So if the federal funds rate was, for example, 10%, then a bank would probably never charge less than 12, because they want to make money on the arbitrage between what they're getting and what they're giving in the loans. And whenever you have the federal funds rate slammed to the floor like this, it has major implications on inflation. So what we just saw at 2 p.m. with the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, coming out saying that they're not raising interest rates, basically the reason that this is important, and I'm going to tie this back into price because it is all playing together right now, the reason that this is important is because the writing on the wall is that the inflation of the US dollar looks like it's going to continue, and I know Ben's going to argue with me on that, but it looks like it is, and we've seen CPI data proving that in the last 12 months, which the CPI is a gross miscalculation of the way that it works, but I think it does give you a general idea. The point is the strength of the US dollar is going to continue to decline over the next 12 months and more than likely over the next decade. As it does that, it is going to lead to people wanting to buy Bitcoin. So how did that play into the price over the last 12, 14 days? Well, right now, Bitcoin is in a secondary downtrend to its primary trend, which is a bull market. I don't believe we're in a bear market because retail sentiment is the highest it's ever been. On-chain data tells us that the number of people with less than one Bitcoin buying Bitcoin is at a record high that we haven't seen since March of last year, and we all know what happened back then. So people are buying this dip, expecting a higher rally. Here's what I think. I think there is a lot of manipulation in the market, and I think whales are trying to get low buying opportunities the same way they were back in June and July, and they're trying to figure out how low will the retail allow this to go. Will the retail allow it to go down to 45? Will they allow it to go down to 42? Will they allow it to go down to 40? I think they're going to keep trying to push it lower so that these big companies and corporations and whales have the ability to buy back in lower. But eventually, the retail is going to come through, and they're going to keep buying, and we're going to set a floor. And I think part of the reason that that floor is going to be set higher than maybe it would have been if the interest rate had been raised was because the people in crypto realize that if the US dollar is weak as a result of low interest rates, then Bitcoin's going to be strong. So I think the floor for Bitcoin is somewhere in the mid 40s. We may have already touched it with the wick on the 3rd of December down to 42. And I do think we're going to see a new rally form in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I think January, we're going to start to see Bitcoin pushing up into those 50s and 60s.
Yeah, well, let's talk about retail 1 second. But first, Wendy, it was you that said the 52. You did that video earlier. I mean, is this a bull trap, do you think? Or, I mean, where do you land on this with, supposedly retail coming in and everything and our levels being hit?
First and foremost, Jebb, we are not worthy of your knowledge and expertise in these matters. Like, I was completely blown away. I didn't expect to hear all of that easy to understand verbiage regarding all of those very hard terms. But anyways, me personally, this is the thing. I appreciate everything that Jebb said. And I agree that we are not in a bear market. We are still in a bull market. Just because we experience bearish price action doesn't mean that it's going to determine exactly what's going on with the market as a whole. So one of the things I am concerned with is, yes, we did get positive news today, but like Elizabeth Warren did come out, I want to say approximately 24 hours ago, about a day ago, talking about stable coins and that they're dangerous, stating that DeFi is dangerous. Just because the Fed came out and said something positive when it comes to interest rates doesn't mean that the way that we're looking at the market when it comes to Elizabeth Warren and a lot of these other legalized cartel members, their opinion matters and their words matter. So I'd just be a little bit cautious as to that. And me personally, I like to trade in ranges now. Makes sense for me. I want to see us flip above that trend line that goes all the way down from that swing wick high at approximately $69,000 on November 10th. Flip above that. I think it's like at 52 or 51.8, something similar to that. If you want to be super careful, $53,000.
All right. Well, and on this bounce that we just had, that was great. On this bounce we just had, we have Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin. I want to look at it real quick. Ethereum, it's dropped down. It was 8% at the beginning of the show. Now it's at 6%. Bitcoin's at 4%. So we're looking, it's over 50% higher. If we look at the ETH Bitcoin chart, it just passed the 0.8 level. So this is the 4-hour chart. This is ETH compared to Bitcoin. It was bleeding Satoshis, and then boom, we have a nice bounce. Now, Ben, this is off, a lot of people are saying this is off the Fed's minutes, and what they're planning on doing over the next year. Is this kind of confirming to you that ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin, for the rest of the duration of this bull market?
I mean, I didn't need confirmation to know that. I mean, that's obvious. It's always been obvious. It's never not been the truth. I'm surprised at how high now we believe that Ethereum will get versus Bitcoin. I didn't think we would get over 10% for this run for ETH versus Bitcoin value, but I now believe we have a great chance to make all-time highs and get above 15%. So, but still 10 to 15% is higher than I didn't think we would get above 8 to 10. And we've been above 8. We're, I don't know if we're right. I think we're back above 8 right now. We went over 8 earlier in the year. So I think, that's very obvious. But the question I want to ask, I want to reverse and I want to do a round robin here where everybody answers. Was this news today extremely bullish? Was this an extremely bullish meeting today? I want everybody's opinion. Yes or no?
Altcoin, go ahead.
I would say not extremely, but I would say very bullish because the Fed basically did what they were hinting, what they're saying they were going to do, which is the interest rates will go back up, but not until March 2022 at the earliest, maybe even May, but that essentially means at least a couple more months of summer if we were watching the groundhog. So I'd say extremely bullish.
Okay, I like that. Jebb, where do you land?
Restate the question. Ben?
Was this announcement today from the Fed extremely bullish?
I think it was bullish for Bitcoin in the long run because I think it weakens the US dollar. I think the announcement today kicks the can down the road instead of stomping on the can and hopefully doing something about it. And I think it is going to be damaging to the US dollar, and it's going to whenever the dollar takes a hit, normally I think Bitcoin is going to succeed because of it, even if it takes a while.
All right, Wendy, where do you land?
First off, guys in the chat, I'm not a perma bear. I'm just very, very cautious. And that's just the way that I like to, that's the way I do my charts. I like to be cautious. I'm a mom. I have to plan for things ahead of time. I mean, some people are watching have families, you got to plan for this stuff. But anyways, I think it was a bullish event. So basically what I'm understanding, if Fed rates are not going to go up, or interest rates are not going to go up to, I want to say Q1 of 2022, like the end of that, then we can probably start to celebrate a little bit. But please understand there will be volatility. So go ahead and send it. Hopefully we get to $100,000 by then too. That would be absolutely amazing.
Wendy, how dare you not gamble with your child's college fund? I want you to put them into meme coins that just dropped yesterday. All right, well,
Okay.
last question here. Or go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I asked the question. I asked the question for a purpose.
You got it. You got it, Chris Crinkle.
And thank you. And I wanted to bring it. I wanted to bring it back around here because I think if we were to take this news today from the Fed and we were to line it up against other giant, extremely bullish news stories that we've measured over the last year and a half, whether it was the release of more stimulus money, whether it was PayPal announcing they were getting involved in crypto, whether it was Tesla buying Bitcoin. When we look at a lot of the really biggest catalyst news events, in my opinion, it's extremely easy to see how extremely bullish they are. This today is kind of meh, in my opinion. Like, yeah, great. You're pushing it down the road a couple months. This does not affect the larger picture of inflation versus deflation that we are going to be facing. We have painted a scenario for you guys for months on this channel. And yes, it has not happened to this point. But when you look at the time and you look at what's coming in March, if they do raise the rates in March, or if they even, God forbid, were to raise them in May, like, do you think the raising rates is going to have an extremely bullish impact on Bitcoin? No, absolutely not. That's the worst nightmare, right? So all these people that are preaching this longer cycle when we're going to be in the midst of economic turmoil later in next year, like, that's crazy to me. I can't see how, when we're facing the raise of rates, that all of a sudden Bitcoin's going to go way up. What we've been talking about is a scenario where Bitcoin spikes, deflation comes in, kills all markets. We've been laying the scenario out for you for 6 months on this channel now. 6 months on this channel now. We've been laying the scenario out. It did not happen in the fall. It did not happen in December. It's still happening. The fact that they pushed this back a couple of months, that they pushed this until March, that's basically an extension of what should have already occurred, but everything was not lined up correctly. So this is setting up for the big move towards deflation, because we cannot, like, do we honestly think we're going to be on here in 7 years and I'm going to have a longer Santa Claus beard and we're going to be talking about inflation still? Like, do we honestly think that they're going to keep that 7 years from now we're going to be able to keep putting trades?
They've done it for 100 years.
For 100 years.
Forever. We went off the gold standard in 1971. We went off the gold standard in 1971, but if you go back and you look at the value of the dollar, it's been going down for a long time.
100 years, but we went through a large period of deflation in the 20s or the 30s, one or the other. Go look.
You're right.
There was a large period of deflation,
and by the way, I agree with you. We are going to see deflation. I just don't think it's going to last that long.
100 years since then. What is wrong with Wendy?
No, it was funny because
I don't like being in the middle of confrontation. It makes me really nervous.
And not only that, right before you jumped in, Altcoin Daily joke. I'm gonna take the top left spot and then just disagree with everything everyone says, specifically Jebb.
Well,
all right,
I'll tell you what, when Wendy, don't worry about getting in the middle of the confrontation, because when I swing at Jebb, a lot of people, when they saw a picture of you and I together, they were surprised to find out how short you are. I'll just go right up over your head and connect with Jebb on the top of his.
Possibly in a Dubai boxing
what was
match.
that, Jebb?
Who knows?
Jebb said, okay.
I said, all right.
I will proudly, just so everybody knows, I will proudly be the referee in any boxing match. But if I get hit, I'm throwing back, and I'm throwing back hard. That's all.
All right. Maybe we won't put a Paul brother as an undercard. So that's something we can maybe do. But we are actually running out of time. I'll do it real quick. All right. Just yay or nay, Altcoin Daily. We're talking about retail. Retail. Everyone's saying retail's come back. They're starting to buy Bitcoin. Is retail back to buying, or is this all overblown?
I think the on-chain data says that the retail bought this dip in a big way. So hell yeah, look at the on-chain data.
we're feeling a little bullish. I'm liking that I wore green today. It was a great episode. We ended with some fireworks and some sparks, and maybe we even found a celebrity judge for a future Dubai boxing match. But Crypto Jebb, you ended up taking it away here, so we're gonna go ahead and so you won the show. That's all I'm gonna say. So Jebb, go ahead, leave us with the parting thought.
Well, thank you very much as always, DZ. You've always been a great host and very kind to me. Here's what I want you guys to take away from this show. No matter what the Fed does, the US dollar is a scam, and it is going to go through a lot of inflation. I agree it's going to go through some deflation at some point in the future. I just don't think it's going to happen next year. And when it does, guess who's going to be there to take care of you? Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin. You'll be glad you did.
Buy Bitcoin. Couldn't say it better myself. And that's all we got time for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Until next time, DZ out.